Alright, what's going on, guys? So in this video, what we're going to be talking about is how to layer fragrances like a pro. So we want to always be the best smelling person in the room, and sometimes the practice you can implement is to layer fragrances. And with layering fragrances, you not only create a unique scent, but you also help with the longevity, and you help kind of heighten the sense that you are able to create through your fragrance. Okay, now before we get into all the intricacies of it, layering fragrances is simply combining different fragrances to create a more personalized, multi-dimensional fragrance, right? So let's say you like the components of one fragrance, but you also like the other components of another fragrance. Well, then if you combine them together, you can create your own personal fragrance, your own personal smell. So you can, and so when you get asked, by somebody, you could say, well, I am able to mix these two fragrances that I like together, and they blend well, they complement each other well, and I kind of use this as my own personal DNA, right? And this is a perfect practice for those of us who want to stand out in the crowd, and you want to feel like if you feel like your cologne isn't lasting long enough, if you also feel like you aren't getting the proper use, or maybe there's something missing, and the fragrance that you do like, you would love if you added another fragrance to it. Well, then you can implement this practice and really create a nice sort of scent DNA for yourself, right? Think of fragrance layering as kind of like mixing drinks or pairing foods together. When you do it the right way, you create a really nice result and a really nice concept, a really nice combination. Okay, now when we get into the basics of layering, the first thing we have to understand is we have to understand the different fragrance families that exist. Okay, so remember that we have four main fragrance families that are out there. We have the fresh. So when you hear fresh, you want to think citrus or aquatic. So these are the lighter and clean scents, right? Then you have the woody family. So these are the more grounded and masculine scents. When you hear woods, so think of like spicy woods, think of like cedar, vetiver. And then you have the spicy. These are the more warm and inviting scents. So those are your tonka beans, your sandalwoods, your black pepper, your pink peppers. Then you have the last family, which are the more gourmand and spicy. These are your more playful and bold scents, right? So when you hear gourmand, think chocolate, think honey, think caramel, things like those ilk. All right, now which family do you typically gravitate towards is the question. That's the question you got to ask yourself, and comment that down below. I'm usually a spicy sweet type of fragrance person. I'm a spicy type of fragrance person. You're a woody gourmand, you're a woody grounded type of fragrance, or you like fresh and clean things. All right, now that we understand our fragrance families, the next thing is you have to start with simple combinations. So first off, to pick the right combinations of fragrance, you have to pick the simpler combinations. So if you are someone who is a beginner in layering your fragrance, go for one fresh and one woody kind of fragrance, or one spicy and one sweet, right? You want to have complementary fragrance families, right? So you want to have combinations that go together, that blend well together, and that are able to kind of counterbalance the yin and yangs of sort of fragrance families. So typically you want to pair fresh with woody scents. So with fresh and woody scents, you create a clean, sharp, and vibrant scent that also transitions into more something rich and masculine. So with the fresh scent, you're thinking fresh and clean. You're thinking, okay, I'm well put together. I don't smell terrible. I smell just, like fresh out the shower. Then when you add a woody scent to it, you then transition into something a little bit more rich, a little bit more masculine maybe. The fresh scents can kind of just make you not smell bad, make you smell like fresh out the shower. And then when you add some woods to it, it can kind of heighten the level, heighten the potency of the fragrance, okay? Now when you are talking about the next family, which is if you want to combine a spicy and a gourmand fragrance, when you have a spicy and a gourmand fragrance, you create a bold, a warm, and an attention-grabbing fragrance. So those are the types where when you wear them and you walk into a room, everyone's gonna have their attention kind of averted towards you. You almost can't, not draw attention. And those are the kind of combinations I like the most. The thing with those is that they are bold, and so they are loud. But loud is good for me, honestly. I like loud fragrances because I do want people to ask. I do like it when people ask, when people compliment, people like, what is that you're wearing? I can tell them. I get the opportunity to share fragrance with people. So that's the way I look at kind of having a bold fragrance. It's not about attention grabbing, but it is about being able to put people on game about, oh, what is that fragrance? I can tell them, and we can have that conversation. Then the last little combination is citrus mixed with leather. Okay, citrus and leather. So those are for those of us who want a more sophisticated scent, but you do want a level of edge from the leather, right? So the citrusy fragrance notes gives you a level of sophistication and fresh cleanness, but a little bit of more pungent, right? A little bit more character with your fresh. When I think fresh and clean, right, I'm thinking like watery, more musky, more sea notes, right? Oceanic. But then citrus fresh fragrance are more outdoorsy, a little bit more outgoing, right? So if you combine citrus with a little bit of leather, most people might think that might not work, but it actually works pretty well, right? You combine a nice citrus fragrance with some edginess, it gives you a little bit of a character where it's like, ooh, there's something about that person, okay? Now, what you want to avoid is against layering too overly strong scents, like too powerful leather fragrances or too strong gourmand fragrances, because you don't want your fragrance to be too overpowering and clash, or you don't want their notes to kind of repel. So if you think about it, just like magnetism, just like the laws of attraction, if you have too overly edgy fragrances, naturally they're gonna repel and it's gonna be kind of off-putting. It's gonna be a bit much, right? Same thing, if you have too gourmand fragrances, too negative, and they come together, they're gonna repel, right? Because now it's kind of complicated as far as figuring out, okay, what notes are you trying to give off? What notes are your fragrance trying to give off, right? Because at the end of the day, fragrances, put simply, are a blend of notes put together. So when you already are having one fragrance, that's one set of notes. And then you're taking another fragrance that is another set. If they don't complement each other, then naturally they repel each other or they miss each other, and then you don't get the result that you want, okay? So always test out these fragrances on your skin before you wear them out in public, right? As scents interact with your body chemistry, they do that differently than they do in the bottle, right? So always be able to test the fragrances that you're thinking about on your skin first, do a skin test, and then you'll be able to tell whether or not it would go well on your skin and whether it go out on public. If you like the way it smells on your skin, then I'd say you have the green light to be able to wear it out in public and see what people think about that, all right? Now, going into the actual layering process, and this is gonna go step by step. So step one in the layering process is to start with a firm base, okay? So when we say start with a firm base, I'm talking about making sure that your skin is clean, making sure your skin is moisturized. And see, moisturized skin, you can use something like simple Vaseline, unscented lotion, but you just want to be able to make sure that your skin is well lathered, well put together, well maintained, because if you have a strong and solid base, then naturally your fragrances will be able to complement your skin's natural body chemistry. Remember, your body already is giving off certain scents, based on how well you clean your skin, as well as what kind of fragrance you might use in your body wash, if you do use any type of body wash that has scents in it or not, and then also the type of moisturizer you use. But you do want to make sure that you have moisturized skin, because dry skin does not help with your skin's longevity as well, or with your fragrance's longevity, okay? So making sure you have those bases touched means that you'll have a longer lasting fragrance, and it'll also be a smoother process and smoother transition, okay? Now, the second step is to apply the stronger of your two fragrances first, okay? The strongest fragrance, or the more complex of your fragrances, should always go first. If you're layering a woody and a fresh scent, the woody fragrance should always be your base, should always be the one that goes first, okay? And then the importance of that is that you need to also remember to apply fragrance on your pulse points. So remember, your pulse points are anything like your wrists, your neck, or your chest, right? Any of those places where people are probably going to be smelling, or where your body is generating body heat as well, okay? This will help intensify the projection of your fragrance, okay? After you've sprayed your base scent, then you spray on the complementary scent right after, okay? So you apply the second fragrance, the lighter of the two fragrances, and this will help. This could be a citrus scent or a fresh scent over your woody scent, okay? And you should always spray it lightly so that it doesn't overpower, right? You don't want to enhance the complexity, and you want to enhance the complexity, and you don't want to drown out the fragrance, okay? You want them to blend together, all right? So, and you can always toy. The good thing about fragrance, you can always toy with the application order, right? Some people might prefer reversing that and putting the light fragrance first, putting the heavier fragrance on after. The good thing with fragrance is that there really is no perfect answer, and there really is no true right answer. It's just a matter of what helps your fragrance smell the best for you, and which ones garner you the most compliments. Which is sometimes it's trial and error, right? There have been fragrances that I've bought blind where I'm like, that ain't it for me. Or there are fragrances that I wasn't the biggest fan of initially when I bought them, but then I wear it out and I've garnered compliments on them. I'll probably do a video on that, coming soon. But at the end of the day, that's the fun in the whole hobby, is that you get to collect all different types of scent. You get to try different types of scent, and once you collect it for a few years, now you try to develop your own personal style or your own personal sense of smell as well. Okay. After you've applied and you kind of tested out your application order, right, the next thing is to test and adjust, right? So again, now you get to go try it out for a day, you get to go try it out for a night. You've done the base, you've applied the 2 cents, tried it out on skin, you've gotten your kind of combination together. Now you go out for a night, you see, okay, if I go out for a night out, if I go out to a club, if I go out for a dinner, what's the reactions? What's your field research telling you? What is it that people are saying whenever you wear it out? Are they liking it? Are they noticing one fragrance over the other, right? I experiment a lot with fragrance oils because fragrance oils is kind of a more concentrated projection. So I'll mix multiple oils together, 2 oils together, and then when I wear them out in public, people will say, "Ooh, you smell nice." And I'm like, "What are you smelling? What are you getting first?" I want to see which of those fragrances they're getting, kind of hit their nose first. So if you tried layering before, then I want to know what is your favorite combo. But again, there you go, guys. So again, remember, just to recap, just the steps. First step, start with your base. Make sure your skin is lathered. Make sure your skin is clean. Apply the stronger of the 2 fragrances first. That's what I do if you're a beginner. Then apply your complementary scent. Then experiment with the application order after. And then you test and adjust as you go. All right. Now, remember, let's talk about some common mistakes. Common mistake number 1 is you don't want to over apply one fragrance to the other, okay? So you never want to smell like you're drowning in cologne, right? It's okay to be a generous sprayer, right? I'm not the type to say you only should spray 2 to 3 sprays. I don't say that at all, not over here. But you also don't want to overindulge and overspray yourself, especially if you're layering fragrances, because now you're drowning in it. It can come off a little bit off-putting, especially if you're spraying 2 really strong and really potent fragrances, right? And the next thing is you don't want to clash your scents together, right? So some scents just don't play well together. If they smell off when you test them, when you test them on skin, they're probably not going to be a good match. So if you're about to try and test it off and you don't even like it on your skin, odds are the masses don't like it. When you like a fragrance, usually there's gonna be people who like that fragrance as well. When you like a combination, generally that's a rule of thumb that other people will like it too. It's just a matter of to what extent and to what order that are they gonna like it, okay? And then the last thing also is not to layer too many scents together, right? No more than 2, right? 2, maybe even 3 you can get away with, but when you start spraying 4, 5, 6 fragrances, I haven't seen that done, but people might do it. You're putting a lot of personalities, you're putting a lot of scents, a lot of notes together, and it can really kind of turn people's nose blind. It really can kind of over confuse and complicate your fragrances. So I would say if you are going to layer fragrances, I would say stick to no more than 2 or 3 fragrances. Really 2 is a good sweet spot because the array of notes coming together. You really won't need more than 2 fragrances. Maybe that 3rd fragrance is something like a 1 note type fragrance, like if you want to combine Molecular 1 with 2 other fragrances to add to your longevity, because really Molecular 1 is just ISOE Super, Molecular 2 is like Ambroxan, so like those type of fragrances maybe you can add as a 3rd, but you don't want to overdo with your sprays, all right? And then the last thing, now let's talk about some combos that I've heard about and that I'm gonna try out for us. So the first combination we're gonna do is we're gonna take Al Haramain's Amber Oud Blue Edition, and we're gonna mix that with this one here. This one is Versace Parome, right? So with the Amber Oud Blue, this is a playoff of Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette. The fresh, citrusy, slightly woody notes of the Amber Oud Blue pairs beautifully with the deep, smoky, the fresh, clean, sort of watery and lavender of the Versace Parome, okay? So first thing we'll do, we'll take the Amber Oud Blue. We already lathered the skin up, we already moisturized the skin. Then we'll come on the skin right here, boom. 3. There you go, you got that birch, that woods. Then Add the Versace Perone. Let that sit. That's a combination for you. So again, if you want a fresh and woody combination, you'll come with this one, Amber Oud Blue Edition mixed with Versace Perone. Then on the other wrist, we're gonna go with our more sweet gourmand mixed with our spicy fragrances. So the second combination we're gonna do, we're gonna take Versace Eros. We're gonna mix that one with Paco Rabanne's 1 Million, all right? So, take our Eros first. You gotta love that lavender and then Broxton. And then we're gonna take, so with Eros, right, you're getting that mint while this dries down. You're getting that mint, that vanilla, and that tonka bean, while the 1 Million is gonna bring that cinnamon and leather. So a nice, sweet, spicy, and bold fragrance that really could be great for your evenings out and for a cold weather night. And also for people who think that 1 Million is a little played out, Eros is a little played out, it's a little bit more mass pleasing. If you combine them together, you might create a unique scent too, okay? And I like that. This is a dub as well. This one's a dub for sure, for sure. So there you go, guys. That'll do it for today. So how to layer fragrances like a pro. Again, remember, it's all about taking the steps. Don't overcomplicate it, but have fun with trying and testing them out, trial and error. Have fun with the whole process. Again, I appreciate all you guys who listen and tap in with the channel. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video down below. Comment what are your favorite layering combos? What are your favorite scents to combine together? What are your favorite notes to combine together? What kind of fragrance personality do you have? Comment whatever video suggestions you have down below. Share the video and share the channel with the fellow fraghead. And we'll catch you on the next one. Much love.